Okay, so obviously this book is not just about anxiety. That's because anxiety is only a small part of a broader picture, hence the title. I once believed that my diagnosis meant that I'd be living with anxiety permanently. I was so wrong. Anxiety is a symptom, a manifestation of a deeper issue, and many of us suffer from it in differing degrees. Regardless of your experience with anxiety, the practices throughout this book are designed to be your self-revival guide. They are here to help you come home to yourself and gain more awareness on what it is that could be blocking you from your confidence. My journey started with respecting myself enough to find out who I was beyond the labels and beyond who I thought I should be. What does self-respect mean to you? I never really had a clear understanding of self-respect. I remember hearing, girls who sleep around with a lot of men lack self-respect. But what did that mean exactly? Among the many things not taught to us growing up, self-respect, in all its many forms, was somewhat foreign to me. Truthfully, I didn't know what it meant. Not only that, but it also wasn't what I'd been shown as an example growing up, with my mum never being respected in her marriage, therefore falling short in the self-respect arena herself, or should I say, the other way around. Although she stayed in that marriage for years too long for many reasons, this was my example of what love in a relationship and self-respect looked like. This is the case with a lot of women, having been suppressed for so many generations. The majority of our behaviours as adults were formed from what we were shown as examples by our parents. Maybe this begins to paint a picture of the relationship between your life and what you saw as reality growing up. It's in your awareness of these things that you can begin to form a deeper relationship with yourself, shift unwanted behaviours and habits for good, and create a life full of love, trust, confidence, abundance, adventure, and empowerment. It's in your awareness, as the absolute foundation, that you can begin to create radical change in your life. At this point, you may not even be aware of the power you hold to create that change, but by the end of this book, you will. Not only that, but you'll also have the tools to do exactly that. Be excited. Self-awareness is the foundation. For me, having run the majority of my life in a highly anxious, stressed, and depressed state, I had very little awareness of what was happening in my body and mind. My thoughts controlled me, and I was afraid to be alone with them. I was afraid of self-abuse in mental, emotional, and physical forms. I used to seek out physical pain to feel again, following periods of numbing emotional pain. Physical pain never scared me much, but the pain of what I felt inside of me, that was scary. I'd numb with alcohol, starting at around 13 years old, and for a period in my early teens, I'd keep a bottle of rum under my bed to drink myself to sleep. I found different substances in my later teens. I'd numb myself to not feel what was happening inside of me, to take myself away from the fear, self-hate, and horrible self-talk, to escape for a short period of time. This was effective, temporarily. Long-term, it led to much more intense episodes of anxiety and depression, though, at this point, I knew no other way. At 27 years old, I met the soon-to-be father of my children. This was a few months following the separation of my marriage, which lasted all of 1 year. I knew when I decided to leave my husband that I wanted to be alone for a while, but the woman I was then still craved the attention of a man, and so there wasn't much resistance to falling for the next man that gave me attention, and wow, did he give me attention. Little did I know, I wasn't the only woman he was giving attention to. Hello, familiarity. So, I quickly became attached. Not long into our relationship, we were at one of his friends' parties, and another friend of his, whom I'd only met once or twice before, took me into the bathroom. It was there that she laid out a line of white crystals for me,